all of you. My name is Anaya Monique Zanad. I'm in ninth grade. I go to middle college, and I'm part of the Betty Reid Soskin Middle School. Before I get into my speech, we have Spanish translation available if anybody needs it. This whole experience has been a blast, and I'm glad that I was here to be a part of it. I learned a lot these past couple of months being on the naming committee and doing the project in general. I want to thank all of my teachers, especially Miss Barton, because she taught me a lot about Juan Crespi and Betty Reid in general. She encouraged me to be a part of this. Thank you all for being here, and it's been a blast. Also, happy birthday, Betty Reid. 100 is a big number, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for everything, and thank you for coming. So next we have the Oakland Sympathy Chorus, Lift Every Voice and Sing by James Weldon Johnson, ready for us.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the darkness has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won.
Thank you, Betty.
So next we have the principal's welcome, Principal Guthrie Fleischman.
Wow. We've all heard that song 1,000 times, but hearing them sing about the hope that the president has brought us, and looking out at all of you today, and hearing Anaya speak, and seeing the students and their reactions this week, and seeing how all of this has impacted our school community, I am so filled with hope, and so grateful to you, Miss Betty, and to the Reid Soskin family. Thank you so much. Last November, we were in a staff meeting, and we, in the midst of the work that we were doing as a school community, to really investigate our school and the systems that exist within our school, and how we could be more equitable, and how we could address systemic racism and oppression within our school system and the structures that we have built. One of the conversations that came up was about the name of the school. In that meeting, I saw the eyes of all of the teachers in the school kind of perk up when that notion was brought up. And to see that conversation grow and grow amongst the staff, and then we brought it to the students, and it exploded, and then we brought it to the community. And I had so many people, retired educators, parents in the community, teachers in our feeder schools, folks from the high school that we feed into, board members. The amount of outpouring of just appreciation and gratitude for this school community, for the teachers, our history department. She mentioned Mix Barton, who put together an incredible research project. So this whole project, this whole initiative was driven by teachers and students. It was really, really inspiring. And then when we started to work, she mentioned the renaming committee. The first thing that we did was put together a set of criteria for what the new name would need to be. We talked about making sure that there was a local connection. We talked about making sure that the new name would inspire. We talked about making sure that the new name would stand for social justice and equity. And a lot of people's names were thrown out, a lot of other ideas and entities and whatnot. And as we whittled down and as we looked at those criteria, there was only one name that made any sense. There was only one name that fit every single criterion. And it was really not a long debate, to be honest with you. Miss Betty, we are so appreciative. I've been in this district for almost 20 years now as a teacher and as a coach and a vice principal and a principal. And I can't think of another time where I've seen a community as inspired as this community is by attaching themselves to your name. That sounds like hyperbole, but it's not. I've never seen it. I see it in the eyes of our teachers. I see it in the parents. I see it in the kids. Your graciousness and your allowing us to name our school after you has changed the trajectory of education on this campus. And it's hard for me to overstate that. So thank you so very much. And with that, I am going to yield the floor to our fantastic and wonderful superintendent, Dr. Hurst. Thank you.
I'd like to say good morning to everyone. I must admit that I was extremely nervous meeting Miss Betty Reid Soskin, and I went over and shook her hand this morning, and I felt like I was meeting royalty, and I had chills. So I just want to start off by saying it's an honor to meet you in person, ma'am. And I want to start off by saying to honor someone is to value them highly and to bestow value upon them. So starting off, Ms. Betty Reid Soskin, I would like to say you are highly favored and valued. There are resources that tell us to express honor and esteem towards certain people, such as our parents, those who have wisdom, the age, and those who have had an impact on lives. We are also exhorted to love one another, brotherly affection, and to outdo one another in showing honor. So I would like to say this morning that we love you, Ms. Betty Reid Soskin, and we are taking the lead, which is what outdo one another to honor. That's what we're doing this morning. We're here to honor you. So this morning, I'd like to say we honor you and are thankful for your longevity, and we pray blessings upon you. We honor you for your wisdom. We honor you for all of your accomplishments. We honor you for the life you've lived, the positive example you have set, and the role model you have been for so many. We honor you for your pioneering life, from being a civil rights activist, a musician, a poet, a business person, and being the oldest active ranger with the National Park Service in the United States. You have now joined the ranks of other pioneers, such as Kamala Harris, Michelle Obama, Viola Davis, and Aretha Franklin. And finally, I'd like to say happy birthday to you, Ms. Betty Reid Soskin. It's my great honor to meet you in person. It's an honor to be able to stand before all of you and participate in your 100th birthday celebration. And it's a double honor to be able to acknowledge and honor you through the unveiling of our school, going from Crespi Middle School to Betty Reid Soskin's Middle School. And it's also an honor to introduce our new mascot, Bears, which we are affectionately already calling Betty Bears. So, Ms. Betty Reid Soskins, thank you for allowing me this opportunity to meet you in person and to celebrate you. Yes, ma'am. And see, I told you I was nervous. I'm getting carried away. So I want to introduce our State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tony Thurman.
Going ahead and get carried away. I thought he was going to sing the Stevie Wonder version of Happy Birthday. Ready? Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Unless Stevie Wonder was here, we're going to leave it at that. Happy birthday. Feliz cumpleaños. Good morning. Buenos días. Felicidades. This is truly, truly a special day. And many of you have to know, if you don't know already, it is probably difficult for Ms. Betty Reid Soskin to be here and hear all of these accolades showered upon her. One of the things I have been privileged to learn about Ms. Betty Reid Soskin is she is a humble leader, a modest leader whose actions speak louder than anyone's words. And in my experiences with her, she doesn't want anybody showering anything on her. But thank you for giving us this honor, because what you call something does matter. And I'm thinking about this in the context of the fact that our legislature has just passed AB 101, a bill to require ethnic studies to be taught in all California schools. And I'm thinking, that we have a champion. We have someone who has fought for civil rights, for women's rights, for racial justice, and our children deserve to have someone to look up to. I'm a parent of a student who graduated from this school, the school formerly named Crespi Middle School, and I'm proud to be a parent of an alum of Betty Reid Soskin Middle School. Our children should not have to live with representations that bring hate and harm to them. I'll just leave it at that. Now, this is a school that is led by a principal who believes in excellence. How they say, I've been knowing Principal Fleischman for a long time. Forgive me to the English teachers who are here. That's an affectionate thing. And this school over the years has had a trajectory where some have said great, fond things, some have said can be better. We all can be better. I'm a perfect example of that. We all can be better. But this is a school that represents excellence, and it is now named for someone who is the perfect representation of excellence. That is you, Betty Reid Soskin. Thank you for that. So thank you, Superintendent Hurst, and thank you, Principal Fleischman. And I'm not going to sing anymore, but I'll spare you all that. But my heart is singing because students deserve to see someone who looks like them. And for far too long, our students of color have been forced to deal with I would say, miseducation. And the reality is that we have people in our community, not just in our state, but in our community, who represent the best of what our African American, our Latino students, our Native American and Asian American Pacific Islander students should know about their ancestors and their contributions. But it's a benefit for all students. And so it's special to me. And if you're willing, Ms. Betty Reid Soskin, I would like to name you as an ambassador for California education in the state of California, to be a spokesperson for all that is excellent for our students. If you would allow me, I'd like to name you as that. You're going to yell at me, aren't you? You're going to yell at me. You're a bright light. And in the presence of everyone who is here today, and again, Superintendent Hurst, Principal Fleischman, the board members, Mr. Mila Smith-Folds, and to our president, trustee, President Mr. Phillips, I'm about to turn this mic over so you won't be mad at me anymore. To my good friend and colleague, also from the board, Demetrio Gonzalez-Oy. But I just wanted to, it means a lot to be able to be a part of this ceremony today. And as a parent, as a former school board member, and as state superintendent, I'm so grateful that you've allowed us to name this school that will now forever be identified as being in excellence after Betty Reid Soskin. I love you and thank you. Congratulations. Please show your welcome for Mr. Demetrio Gonzalez-Oy.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I am also very nervous, so I had to write my speech, or I knew I was going to ramble on and on. My name is Demetrio Gonzalez-Oy, and I am trustee for Area 4, which includes this wonderful school. On behalf of my colleagues, I would like to thank our incredible students and faculty that made today happen, but especially Anaya and Mr. Fleischman, who are here. I had the honor of leading, alongside my colleague, Trustee Smith-Folds, the board committee in charge of reviewing the final names presented by this great community for consideration. When we reviewed the name Betty Reid Soskin's Middle School, I had no doubt in my mind it was the perfect choice picked by our youth. In her 2018 interview for Glamour magazine, Ms. Soskin says, "History has been written by the people who got it wrong, but the people who are always trying to get it right have prevailed." This quote spoke so strongly for me about today's occasion because it reminds me so much of this school, how it had a name given by those who were trying to hold power over the people who lived in this land and their ancestors. But as Ms. Soskin reminds us, those who are trying to get it right, those who don't give up, those who do what is right, at the end always prevail. Today, the school has prevailed and will forever be named after an American hero, icon, and role model for our community. Thank you, Ms. Soskin, for being here and allowing us to use your name to show every young person that they can be anything they want in life if they try. Congratulations, Betty Reid Soskin's Middle School. You should be proud of this accomplishment and prevailing to get it right. Thank you. And now I will introduce my colleague in our committee, Trustee Jamila Smith-Folds.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jamila Smith-Folds. Hold on a minute. I gotta have it up here now. Let's start again. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jamila Smith-Folds. I'm a school board trustee. It is my absolute honor to be here this morning. As a mother of three, I understand the power of names. My husband and I languished over what to name our three daughters. I had the final say. How they would wear this name as a baby, a child, a teenager, and as an adult was all important to us. Could their name be easily spelled? Was it memorable? Did it have a meaning at all? Would it help them stand out if they wanted, or shield them when they need it? Did their name have a purpose? Would it mold to fit them, or should it be a container that they would have to grow to fill? I knew what the students of this middle school know. Names matter. They speak to the world. Your name says things about you before you walk in the room. Your name is the fingerprint left on the soul of all who meet you. Names carry feelings and expectations. Names create experiences and center most memories. We stand at a middle school that will carry the name Betty Reid Soskin, and it is my hope it carries all that she is. There are people who plant seeds and leave a sweet aroma that lingers. Miss Soskin is one of those people. She lives unbroken and unapologetic. There is an effectiveness in her advocacy. Miss Soskin knows that every shut eye ain't sleep, which means in part she is a watcher. Wherever we are and wherever we will be, she has already been. You are now part of her story and her legacy. You carry her name. What does it mean to be a student of Betty Reid? It means you will walk with an expectation of longevity. You know that every day is a day that you are grateful for and choose to give your best to that day. You are a seed planter with intentionality. You know that you are on this planet to serve a purpose. At Betty Reid, you don't fight each other, you fight the system. You know at Betty Reid that you are in harmony of the ancestors before you with the tune of we do what we have to do to get done what needs to get done. Lastly, what does it mean to be a student at Betty Reid? It means you stand. You always stand. You stand up for what's right because you know sitting down and turning away is never a choice. You have the honor and the responsibility to stand tall like a tree, fight injustices like a mama bear protecting her cubs, and to be purposeful and go plant more goodness in the world. Ms. Soskin, we thank you at this middle school. We thank you in this community, and we thank you for the entire district. We eat from the fruit of the seeds that you planted and tended for over 100 years now. We are more humbly and honored to carry your name, and we say thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, trustees, and to our state superintendent, who's obviously a very busy person and had to go. We thank him. We do have some valued and some guests that we are here very thankful for being here. Congressman Mark DeSaulnier and his representatives, thank you so much. John Joya, thank you so much for being here. I believe representative from Buffy Wick's office is here today. And Superintendent of National Parks, Tom Leatherman. Thank you so much for all being here. Part of the process that we went through in investigating the previous name of the school was to reach out to local Native leaders and elders. And we're very, very fortunate to connect with a representative of, a Lishan tribal elder, part of the Ohlone local leadership and elder group. She was not able to make it today, but we do have a recorded message that I believe we're going to be able to all hear right now. So just want to again thank the Lishan tribal elders and Karina Gould for their participation in our renaming process. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Karina Gould. I am the tribal chair for the Confederated Villages of Lishan. And El Sobrante actually sits in our tribal territory. We have been here since the beginning of time. Our mountain Tuyushtak, which many of you know as Mount Diablo, was a place of our creation. I want to be ever so thankful and grateful for being a part of this name change that's happened today in this historic time, that we begin to take down names of places and to actually name them after people that we see as heroes. Betty Reid Soskin is one of those people that we look up to, and it's so great to have our young people be able to imagine themselves in a place of higher learning where they could learn that. We look forward as the Confederated Villages of Lishan of working closely with the school district to tell our history, the true history of the Ohlone people that have lived here for thousands and thousands of years. Thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this celebration. I look forward to working with you all really soon.
Again, thank you so much to Karina and the entire tribal council. We're going to make a quick audible. This is public education. All the teachers here know that the best lesson plans always, you make a slight adjustment from time to time. So before we move on to some of our other dignitaries that are going to speak, I would like to bring up some of the absolutely most important people that are here today. We have a collection of students here from Betty Reid Soskin Middle School that have put together some gifts for you that they would like to present. Let's have them come on up, please.
Hi, I'm Bailey, and I'm representing the students of Betty Reid Soskin. We just wanted to say happy birthday to Miss Betty Reid.
You guys can set the gifts. We have there's lots of gifts coming your way today. So that's just a little sampling. All of our homeroom classes this past week, we're very fortunate. Also, another person who hasn't been mentioned, but I would like to thank Carl Bidelman, who made a fantastic documentary about Miss Betty and allowed us to watch the film with all of our classes this week free of charge. So the students all got to watch the film, and each homeroom put together a gift for you, Miss Betty, on your birthday. So that's a small sampling, and there's I think my office is full right now. So we will get a U-Haul truck here somewhere, and we'll get it all down to your house at some point. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to our fantastic student MC, Miss Anaya Zanad.
That was beautiful. So next we have the board president, Mr. Phillip.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mr. Phillips. I have the honor and pleasure of being your school board president. But today I have the honor and pleasure of saying thank you. Thank you for a life well spent. Thank you for a life of service. As I was driving over here this morning, I was thinking about how we honor people and how we measure life. And we measure life, in my opinion, in two different ways. One way is just sheer years, and you have most of us beat in that department. But the other way that we measure life is in time well spent. And the truth is, you have most of us beat in that department as well. You spent a life of service. You've done things that most of us have only read about in books. That's time well spent. And so I want to say thank you, not just for the time that you've been on this earth, but thank you for spending that time wisely. Thank you for spending that time in service to others. And thank you for being able to reach back to all of the children at this school, to all of the children across our city. Just thank you. And last but not least, thank you for the honor and privilege of being able to honor you. At night, when I pray over my children, I thank God for the honor and privilege of raising them, because they didn't have to be in my life. They didn't have to be in my space. And you didn't have to be in all of our lives. You didn't have to be in our space. But God, He blessed us with you. He blessed this community with you. He blessed Richmond with you. He blessed the East Bay with you. God gave us you. So thank you so much, and happy birthday. On behalf of the school district, on behalf of the board, I wish you many more. And with that, I am going to invite a couple of people up here who outrank me. And we're going to start with our county supervisor, who has been a great champion for this district.
Thank you, Mister. I cannot think of a better way to celebrate and recognize Miss Betty Reid Soskin's 100th birthday than naming this school for all future generations after Betty's legacy. Betty, this is about you, but about what you stand for. And we heard Superintendent Thurman talk about Betty's humbleness. But in that humbleness was power. A number of years ago, I remember being in meetings where Betty participated, and when you heard her speak, it was about telling truth, identifying what people often didn't want to talk about, the underlying, sometimes racism, inequity, and injustice in an issue or in a system. In fact, I remember one of the first conversations I had with Betty about the new national park in Richmond. And she said, "I'm not sure how I feel about this park yet. I have sort of a love-hate relationship with it." And it was because, this park was set up to talk about the home front of World War II, right? Celebrating what went on. But there was a lot of racism and injustice that happened on the home front, like in the Kaiser shipyards. And Betty experienced some of that. So it is so amazing now that Betty gets to be a national park ranger to talk about the good and the bad and the injustices that happened in the shipyards and on the home front. But Betty, as we know, doesn't stop at just telling the truth. It's then about changing that inequity and making it fair and just and equitable. So when you have someone that calls out the problems that often other people don't want to talk about, and then moves to change that situation for the better, whether in her own personal role as an activist in the East Bay or representing a state legislator and making policy. And that's really, I think, the true sign of commitment. So what's being recognized here is everything that Betty stood for. And as a former student in this school district, the son of a former teacher, and the parent of a current student, I am so proud of this school community, the parents, the students, the teachers, the staff, the school board, the superintendent, for all stepping up and recognizing that naming this school sets, as others have said, a high bar about what we want to achieve in our community. This is a great community. We all know that racism and injustice still exist. Naming this school sets the goal that we want that to end, and that the students are brought up and taught with that goal. So that's what this is about, right? It's about our community here in West Contra Costa saying, we're going to move forward and set the highest goal of making our community equitable for everyone. And that does start with the students, not just their academic performance, right? But the support that they get from the teachers, the principal, the school district in general, and others, for them to lead successful and healthy lives. So, Betty, thank you for being such a great role model for all of us. We all learn from you. And happy birthday, and many more years to continue to tell your story and to make a difference. Thanks.
I'd like to invite up the senior field representative for Assemblywoman Buffy Wicks, who is Uche Uwahimu.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips, for your introduction. Good morning, everyone. The Assemblywoman could not be here this morning, and I'm here on her behalf. To celebrate and appreciate and honor the events that we are doing here today to honor Betty Soskin. Let me say this. Often we take things for granted. This district, I think, is moving in the right direction from Michelle Obama to Betty Soskin. I think we're moving in the right direction. What do you say? Names have meaning. What you name your kids, your daughters, your sons, your business, it has meaning. So when you name a school, it has meaning because the students carry that name with them wherever they go. So it's really important that in this era, when we name a school, we name it to represent our true belief. So you could not find a better person to name this school than Betty. Soskin. I've had the distinct honor of knowing and meeting Betty over the years. I've actually heard her stories. I've sat down with my kid when my kid was 2 years old and listened to Betty tell stories. It reminds me of stories from Africa where you have the elders telling stories of their ancestors. And many of us sit in awe and listen and appreciate and learn. So I hope that the fact that she's in our midst today, that we can appreciate who she is and her history, knowing that decades to come, each one of us here will tell her story. And generations to come will tell her story because stories matters. History matters. I'm hoping that every kid that graduates from this school can tell a story that they represent this intelligent Black woman. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. There are a couple of more people that I would just like to acknowledge for being here. One is Leslie Reckler, who is the trustee for Area 5. She's not speaking today, but she honors you as well. In addition to that, we have Cheryl Suddick, who is the president of the West County Wastewater District. And we have the First Lady of Richmond, Shirley Butt, on your left, whom you know. So thank you very much, everyone. And now I'm going to turn it back over to our MC.
So next we have Principal Fleischman leading the rest of the presentation.
Thank you all. We are finally at kind of the moment of truth here, where we will formally and officially christen this school, Betty Reid Soskin Middle School. Is Coach Mack close by? I would like everyone to turn to your left, my right. Hold on real quick. I need to make some acknowledgments, Coach Mack. Alex Fleming over here in the right runs our Fab Lab programs at Kennedy High School and supports the Fab Lab here at Crespi. Fabricated the sign that we are about to unveil. Want to also acknowledge Paul Falk, one of our fantastic district painters who spent a good part of this week sanding and painting and getting this sign to look as beautiful as it does. And then Sean Young, fantastic longtime carpenter in this district who did the work to get it up on the wall. And just want to acknowledge the hard work that went into christening and putting this sign up. So Coach Mack, if you would be so kind. It's a beautiful sign, isn't it? I was blown away when we had the idea to put a new wood sign up there. And let's get rid of that banner. We don't need that anymore. We had an idea to replace the old wood sign with a new one. I had no idea. I never dreamed that it would be as beautiful as that is. It's absolutely just the cherry on top of the day. So, Miss Betty, if you would be so kind, family, if we would come on up, can we move these chairs a little bit so we can get this ribbon cut and you can have your school. One, two, three.
Hello. I don't know what one might do to justify a long life. I think that you have pretty much got it made. I wondered when I was listening to all the speakers whether that was really me. also that Betty Reid Soskin was paying attention to two husbands. I'm really Betty Charbonnet. I'm not sure that I can remember that because I gave up being Betty Charbonnet back when I was 20 and married Mel Reid and later married William Soskin. I think that Betty, without the last name, is much more who I am. Thank you very much for the wonderful words. And I will try to be worthy of them as life goes on. I have felt worthy for the past 18 months. That is amazing. Because I didn't think one could feel worthy. It began the night that I introduced Barack Obama to the public on PBS. And I wondered whether I was really worthy of such a privilege. I came away feeling, yes, I was. And I will go on being worthy for the rest of my life. Thank you very much.
Just want to say thank you all so much for coming out, for honoring Miss Betty, and for being a part of our event today. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.